Hey everybody, and tonight in this episode, in this particular bit, I'm a little bit behind, but at least next, I got one more video after this to do, then I'll be caught up with every video I was trying to do in reviews and so forth. Now, I got my little cappuccino over here, and I'm going to talk about Blacklist season 1, episode 2, and just give some legit information about it. Now, of course, Liz is still, husband is still in a medicated enhanced coma. Then you got the situation where, of course, Red is still trying to get his immunity, and get, his, I want certain demands, so forth, in order and checked. But I think the person or chief over the Justice Department, not Harold. Harold's the director or something over the FBI. Also lives Liz's new boss. And he's like basically like, okay, this dude got all these secrets, a lot of stuff that we don't even know about. He's a valuable asset what we need right now. So it kind of might make sense to follow this man. And got the lady, the chief of justice, like, we can't be doing this. I don't care what is being said. Because Red had tried to warn him, okay, there's something about to happen in this area, station the trains, and not he didn't know supposedly that the train was going to be derailed, but he did know some stuff was going to happen a certain time. Like I said, as far as like giving a name and everything like that, if they would have done so, then like he would have gave them. I think then he eventually does give them a name after I think they give him his demands. But like I said, he's kind of like, okay, we're gonna follow this way and call my shots, whatever. Of course, he still works with Liz, and Liz is telling Mr. Redhead, I think Mr. Redhead or whatever, but she still believes. No, she didn't say. I think to Redhead because I still don't remember Redhead's name, by the way. But basically, Liz actually has in her mind that Red was the one who planted all this stuff in that secret box of her husband, the secret life, whatever, all them passports, cash, gun, and so forth. Um, Itself, like she planned on. He's like I said, he's still in the hospital, and like I said, Mr. Redhead goes to where they're having a plank, and he, of course, like I said, he thinks Red is full. I mean, Mr. Red thinks Red is full of bullshit, or whatever the case is. So when they got all this FBI agent, everybody ready to set, he's already Mr. Red is ready. Redhead is ready to check out. All of a sudden, this train comes out of nowhere and it's derailed off the tracks. And it turns out it was 60 people on there, and it was actually an assassination attempt. It was assassination of, I think, of a human rights activist or something. And it turns out, with the information of Red, that actually it was this person that's kind of like, under the radar, called a freelancer that, kills, basically just kills off certain specific people. And the problem is like I said, he's going to try to meet with the freelancer because they first trying to get to the point where it's like, well, where does he, do you meet him by phone, this and that. Of course, Red is kind of like, I don't go by all that shit. I'm just simple. I'm face to face. I only met this person only once, and that's that. So to make a long short story, right before or right after when they were supposed to meet, the be given information about the freelancer or something, they end up going to this particular restaurant. Liz's husband comes out of a coma, and already she's still traumatized about the incident about her husband being stabbed and everything in front of her and stuff like that by that that guy from the first episode that ends up dying. But does has questions, and he eventually does come out the coma and stuff like that at the end, and is released, and she takes him home. And when they're at the restaurant, like I said, he is Mr. Redhead is so focused on, he wants to take down the freelancer and Red at the same time. He is like so focused on, like I said, like, I'm going to get him, and I don't believe it. Whatever. He's more focused on proving that Red's the enemy or whatever than Liv herself. And so he's there. He basically is telling us a nice way, like, things ain't what we're seeing. He pulls the fire alarm. the first Mr. Redhead is thinking like, oh, he's trying to escape. He actually ends up with one of their little vans or whatever in the background, whatever. But it was kind of like a distraction, so he can get the information but not cause a scene because I mean, he probably knew that Mr. Redhead was going to try to set him up, in that situation. Like I said, they need him. They need him. He doesn't need them. So the world. So, um, long story short, they give him this person. I think it was one of the people up the front, whatever, waiter, whatever, or greeters. He ends up giving, or he ends up what is the coat checker, I think. He gives them, I think $100 bills or whatever, because like I said, at that time, Redhead is not putting guns to one of the waiters or some head or coke, and all he had on him was $100 bill with a tip that Redhead gave him when they were at the restaurant. And so he just let him know, like, okay, he gave me information where he is going to be, who's his next target is, and supposedly is this new human right activist. This is this woman is supposed to have this upcoming charity event, and her husband was actually killed by some type of cartel 3 years ago. He was shot up in a car, and so that's where we're trying to get. They're trying to get this next person who's a freelancer. And like I said, it was still trying to, just in and out. They deal with like a little on and off flash, going back and forth. That she is still trying to find out, like, what the hell's going on with her situation, because that's a whole other ball game. Her world's been turned upside down less than than 2 or 3 days or a week. So in order to like find out what this freelancer, what they do, they don't flat out, or the chief of justice, she doesn't really agree. They don't flat out say that he was given immunity, but you kind of figure he has five. Also one of his demands that he had said last episode is that he wanted 2 out of 5, I guess, of his bodyguards that were chosen. And so the chief of justice, she's talking with Harold and a couple of folks in Harold, decide like, we'll take the best out of the worst. And it's this one guy who used to be a UFC or some type of fighter, MMA or some type of ex fighter, who was one of his bodyguards. And then they end up choosing this one chick. One chick kind of reminds me of Lucy Lou's character, Charlie's Angel, or something like that. But that's who they end up being chosen. It's like his part of his entourage or whatever, or security. And then they add on this one other chick that the chief just chooses from CIA, her own personal person that she trusts as far as, following him or being involved with any activities, or when they're doing investigations with Red, as long as whoever, how many names, connected with this Blacklist situation. I first thought that she was going to be only in this episode, but I'm doing, after I do this vid, I'm going to do another one after finish watching episode 3, and I put it on pause. But the CIA woman is also in this episode too, so I guess she's going to be in further episodes, additional added character. So, anyways, we up here, the woman they have the vent and so forth. And actually, it turns out that when they're about to get the freelance and stuff like that, they end up capturing something. To make a long short story, Mr. Redhead, of course, got a chase and everything like that. And when he ends up, they end up getting him, and I think either he, broke his leg, or it's a big gash where he tore something, because it was a lot of stairs when he was going out there. Because it's paying close attention. Like I said, it's all about reading the lines of the show, because we still don't know, even though it seems very obvious. And even I was thinking, like, Red might possibly Liz's father, she may know information about, also not just like since he knows all this information about even the man, why he married her, and all this other stuff, and he is living a secret life and so forth. We don't know if he actually is the dad or knows of the family or some other stuff going on. But that's supposed to, that's part of the series, is the Blacklist is, you read between the lines. So we still trying to read between the lines. So anyways, and to make a long short story, like I said, I mean, it was it was not a lot of stuff that stuck out in this episode personally to me. So this is probably going to be one of my shorter reviews. Because I'm halfway already actually talk in the middle of the episode, and I'm not even that far as usual when I talk. But just, I'm just talking about the highlights about me. So, no, it was a little off subject, but oh well. So when they end up getting the guy, he's got like a garnish with, the CI is Mr. Redhead and the CI lady, because I don't know the damn names yet. And she's basically twisting, she guard whatever. You don't see anything, but you hear a lot of flesh twitching. So she twisting it because it's like they like demanded, like, who are you work for? Who sent you? Give me the name. And first thing he want to say anything, then he says it's Red. Okay. So what actually happens is that, to make a long story short, he finds out where the human activist lady is, right? And it turns out all this shit was a front. The reason why he ends up like in her hotel room, whatever, and he's there by himself. When he had them all go to freelance, that way all the security be focused on the Mr. the freelancer, and that way he has a chance to get revenge or whatever, with this a human activist chick. And it turns out this bitch is when the main one doing a lot of human trafficking and stuff like that. And this bitch is the one who have her own husband killed. So she is just like one of these camouflage motherfuckers, and just really in the end, I don't know if the freelancer or was it her, that kind of threw me off, kind of confused. But like I said, is she has a lot of blood on her hands as well. So that's what was revealed. What the interesting part was is that the freelancer gave her like the certain drug that was basically gonna basically kill her. And here you got Red pretending like he has the antidote, and here comes Liv comes in, and first, you got the bodyguard, the one who's the ex-fighter at the door. He lets her in with no problem. And I forgot, I know this is a little off search for him. When they actually bring in his two of his security guard, you got the one he's greeting, and then the chick he just kissing all in the mouth and stuff. And interestingly, he says enough to Mr. Redhead. She don't like men, and especially not cops. Not to say I don't know if she this woman is a lesbian. Not like it's a big deal or anything. She is or not. But I'm thinking like, well, some people they fuck whatever and they don't like each other. So I don't know what he meant by cop. Not just interesting. It just kind of threw me off because I didn't know he possibly could be fucking some of his entourage security. Just saying. And um, so back to fast forward. So he's facing Tel Aviv. It turns out she runs all the security. He told her flat out, and he's demanding you say so. So she's on the floor, just choking or whatever else is going on in her body, or maybe some body parts and the organs are about to explode. And of course, Liv does her famous sticking pin in the neck and is trying to help her breathing. He's lying like he has the antidote and stuff because he reveals later on the episode when she talks to him that was the antidote, what was that antidote? Did you have the antidote? Hell no. He was just fucking folks. And the interesting thing, he always says some interesting quotes. I will be paying attention to that. So he ends up telling Liv, like, you sure always got a thing, I guess, with pens or something. I had to joke about, I had to laugh about that one because that was kind of funny to me. So in the end, you got people coming in and so forth, but it was able, I noticed, I think, the chick that's like his one of his security, I think, had the paper. Somebody had the paper, and it turns out she was exposed. It did show she's a fraud, and then she did die committing suicide. Okay, so after that, when he reveals about not being the antidote stuff like that, Tom is like released, and he finally wakes from coma. She was seeing him all the time, and I remember she was even talking to him earlier in the episode when he was still in a coma, like, please tell me you didn't do those things, blah blah blah, this and that. And he, it is the end. She got something out of his bag, and it was just nothing but just it was a little video clip on some flash drive that he was talking about how he loved his wife and the reason why I guess they should be, approved for adoption or get this child or this little girl. And he, just his reasons about how he loved her so much and how she didn't want to have children on her own, but there were so many children adopted. She didn't want to biologically have kids because there's so many kids here already that need help. I mean, need a place of of love and a family. So, like I said, I know I probably skipped a lot of stuff with her, but I just, like I said, this week, and then, this week kind of, or this week's episode really was kind of like, it was good, don't get me wrong, but it really wasn't a lot of highlights personally to me that stood out, except what I just said. So, so I'll see y'all in the next bit. Y'all take care.